leverage is the most important because leverage is just increasing without bound in our society. And there's basically three forms of leverage. There's labor, which is people working for you. That's been around forever. And your parents know it, which is why, when you tell them, I got a job, they ask, well, how many people are working for you? Or how big is the company? It sounds impressive. In reality, labor is the shittiest form of leverage. It takes too much effort to manage people. You're basically playing psychiatrist or babysitting. There's a lot of politics and emotions involved. And it's just very hard to do. That said, if you want to build the biggest fortunes or the most wealth, it has to be in your repertoire. There's a lot of misconceptions that go on in labor leverage. One example is people say, well, there's no such thing as a 10x engineer. Of course there is. There's 100x engineers. There's 1000x engineers. In intellectual disciplines, there's massive variance. It's Pareto distributed, not normal distributed, for those of you who know the distribution curves. But another one is hire people who are smarter than you. That's another piece of nonsense. Why are people who are smarter than you going to work for you? Nobody has a good answer to that one. So there is an answer. It's not a great one, which is you hire them when they're really young and you exploit them for a year or two before they figure out they're smarter than you and move on. So you can do some short-term opportunities, or you can invest in people who are smarter than you. But you also have to be really good at what you do. Otherwise, good people aren't going to work for you. Anyway, that's labor. Then next is capital. You can use capital. You make a trade. Let's say you make a good trade on the stock market. Whether it's a trade you make with $100 or $1 million makes a huge difference. Even though it took the same brain power to come up with a trade, now you're magnified in the latter case by a factor of 10,000. How did you do that? That's leverage, right? That's capital leverage. The problem with capital leverage and labor leverage is that they're permissioned. Somebody has to give you the money. Somebody has to agree to work with you. They take time to get. They take effort to get. With the capital leverage, there's often risk involved, especially if it's your own capital. So that brings us to the last form of leverage. And this is the most powerful form of leverage and is behind all the newly rich. And that is product leverage. Product leverage comes from building a product. And if the product has no marginal cost of replication, in other words, you can stamp out more copies without having to incur cost, that is the best form of leverage. Product leverage ranges from code, where you create applications like Clubhouse. We're all on Paul Davison's piece of code here, and he's massively leveraged. Paul's not here right now. He's not running this conversation. We're all working for him. It also comes from media, like creating content, like Joe Rogan creates a podcast and gets stamped out. It can come from a book. It can come from even products like, someone sells you a pill, like it could be a happy pill, a sugar pill, whatever. A pill is 98% intellectual property. The actual physical cost of what went in there is very low. So fundamentally, what you want to do is you want to put yourself in a situation where you take your specific knowledge that you've developed over the years without even trying, the things that you're good at, that other people are naturally bad at, that you got to by following your own intellectual obsessions. You add that to accountability, put your name on it, take some risks. You employ every form of leverage possible, capital, labor, and products and code, preferably the permissionless ones, because those you can get access to when you're younger. And the net result is you productize yourself. What you end up doing is you end up selling a product that is simply an extension of who you uniquely are. And nobody can beat you at that because it's just you being you. And this can take a while to set up, but once you set this thing up, it will be a flood, a tsunami of money that will keep you flush for the rest of your life. And then you can figure out how to be happy.
Turn it off.